All right, I think we said we were going to review today, right?
Correct.
Yes.
All right. Review exam 3. Okay. Let's see, where am I? Okay. Also, I posted 9.1 through 9.2 from, I think it's from the summer. So I can't seem to find the notes we talked about. I may have forgotten to scan them. I don't remember. But those are there too. They should be similar. Same section. Okay. So number 1, it starts off with right angle with triangles, so nothing too crazy. Let me double check. I'm in the right test. Yeah. Okay, so number 1. Solve the right triangle using the info given. All right. So they tell us that A is 8 and that the angle, we don't know B, do not know C. Angle B is given as 30 degrees. And I think that's it. A, B, so we're missing quite a few things. And they go ahead and draw it for us. And they put A here, C, B, capital B. At least that's how they draw it. Anyway, triangle is not important. We just know that it's a right triangle. So we're missing 2 sides, it looks like, and an angle. So I cannot do Pythagorean theorem because I'm missing two sides. I can't do the law of sine because I don't have the opposite angle, but we could figure it out, right? Because we know that this is the right angle here. So this should be 90, which means that capital A has to be what?
60.
Yeah, it has to be, right? Okay, so here we can use basic trig functions. We don't have to if we use law of sines. We could just use the cosine definition or tangent definition. Doesn't really matter. Now that I think about it, it would be easier to just use cosine of A or cosine of B. Yeah, I think B would be fine. The cosine of the angle B is equal to the opposite side, sorry, the adjacent side over the hypotenuse, which we called C. Right, so then cosine of 30 is equal to 8 over C. Oops, and just solve for C. So this implies that C is equal to what? If I multiply C over here, divided by cosine, we'll have 8 over cosine 30. Let's skip some algebra steps. Is that okay? You guys see how we got here? All right, so then just plug it in. 8 divided by cosine of 30, hopefully I am in degrees, should be 9.24. They say round to 2 decimal places. Okay, you can do the same thing for B using tangent, or yeah, tangent would be good. Tangent of B. Or you can also do Pythagorean theorem and find the missing piece, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to use tangent of B. That would be equal to opposite over adjacent, which means that tangent of 30 is equal to B over A. So we don't know B, so we do know A is 8. Right. So right here, I'm using cosine to find C. And now multiply by 8 on both sides, that gets us to here. So B is approximately something. Four point 4.62. So the answer is D in this case. Okay. Are there any questions on number 1?
No, sir.
All right, let's go to number 2 then. 2, I think we did before, but we can do it again. Type here's the question. So you don't have to write that. You already have access to the review. So transition tower is 220 feet tall. Okay, here, let's draw that out. Okay, so the radio tower has 210 rather. How long should a guy wire be attached? It's 8 feet from the top to make an angle of 20. Okay. We don't know how far away it is, do we? How long? Okay. I don't know how far that is, but there's an angle of 20 from the ground, so I'm gonna need some space up here. So they have this tower, and they're attaching it 8 feet from the top. So over here, I guess. That's what I'm understanding. So then right, this angle from the ground is going to be 20 degrees. All right. So how long is this? So this is the guy wire here. So I want to know the hypotenuse. I guess we could use cosine, I suppose, or actually sine would be better. if I make sine 20, opposite would be 210 plus 8. So it's going to be 218 over the hypotenuse. So I'm going to call this h. So doing some algebra, h will be equal to 218 over sine 20. Let's see if this works.
If they're attaching it 8 feet from the top, would it be attached to the tower or attached to something above the tower? Like,
I'm assuming it's something above the way they worded it. So I'm imagining like some sort of antenna or just some object they attached it to above the tower.
okay, I'm just curious if the answer is going to match one of the multiple choice questions, and I guess we can figure it out that way.
It almost
Yeah.
sounds like it's 8 foot below 210.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
it
thought.
says from the top,
From
8
the
feet from the
top.
top.
Yeah, you might be right. It might be below. Well,
It
let's
almost
try it
seems
out.
like it almost seems like it needs to be 202 over 920.
Yeah, I think you could be right. Let's see, if this doesn't match anything, then we'll adjust. Yep, this does not match anything. So let's try
Vote 2.
202. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So it's from meaning below. So it's actually different. Cool. Thanks. Okay, so it's attaching it to here somewhere. So it changes to 202. Okay. Is there any confusion by that? Is there questions on number 2?
So we're subtracting, right? I always want to add it. That's where I always get confused.
Yeah, I guess when you hear from,
From the top.
that means below.
Okay.
But no, I confuse myself too, because there's another one where it's above the tower, but I guess they need to specify above or on top of something else. Okay, number 3 is similar to the first one. Well, actually, no, this is not a right angle. Yeah, let's do 3. By the way, if you show all your work and you misread the question, I'm not gonna mark it wrong if you show that you know how to do it. You know what I mean? Solve the train. Okay, C's over here on their picture. This is 35, 115, little a, b, c. Okay, so they don't give us any, oh, they do. They give us b, 10. Okay. So I don't know what little a, b is 10, c is something. Angle A is 115. Capital B is 35. So what is capital C? All right. Subtract from 180. C should be
40 or
yeah,
30.
so 430.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got all the angles now. Now at this point, I would just use lot signs because these are all exact angles. We don't need lot cosine or something like this. So in the examples I solved for them in general. So we'll do the same thing, I guess. So this implies that little a is equal to b sine a over sine b, which would be 10 sine 115 over sine 35. That should be a 15.8 for little a. Okay, and that's the same thing for c, lowercase c. So equal to, that's the same thing, sine b. So solve for little c. That'll give us b sine c over sine b. Plug it all in, it'll be 10 sine of 30 over sine of 35. So then 2, I guess. Okay, that's all. That's all the sides. That's it. Any questions on number 3? Okay, number 4. So this time they don't give you a triangle. Say 2 sides and an angle are given. Determine whether the given information results in 1, 2, or no triangle. opportunity to give us this information. All right. So let's attempt to find, let's do capital C since we have a side and see what happens. All right, so I'm gonna use put sign B on top. Well, actually, let's put the C first because that's what I'm solving for. Doesn't matter, but I'm trying to stay consistent.
Can you move the paper up a little bit?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, so sine C over little c equal to sine B over B. So solve for C, we're looking for the angle, so sine C would equal to C sine B over little b, which means that C would equal to sine inverse of all this stuff. Which is approximately something when you plug it in, right? Well, actually, let's go ahead and plug in the numbers first. Still equal. So that will be 7 sine of 70 over little b 3. Seven to get an error, meaning there is no triangle. So let's look at it again. Why is that, right? If you remove the inverse part and just try to find the sine, oops, we got a 7 there. Right. 7 times sine 70 over 3 is greater than 1. So there is no sine value, sine inverse value that will give us, there's no angle that will output something greater than 1. So C does not exist. So this is an error. No triangle. The error happens because this inside part is greater than 1. Are there any questions on number 4?
Did you do the sine inverse of that junk?
I believe so. Yeah. Here. So right here,
Okay.
you get that error because you can do inverse of something outside the domain of the inverse function.
I didn't see that first part.
But if you see something that doesn't make sense, you don't even have to do the inverse. If this value is too big, then yeah, I would stop there. But either way, we see the error and it's fine. Any questions on number 4? Okay. And number 5 is basically the same as number 2, except instead of below the tower, it's above the tower. And I think that's what we did in class. I'm gonna skip number 5 unless you have had problems with it.
We're not gonna do number 5.
No, and did you want me to do 5?
You don't want to do it then. No.
What's that?
No, it's fine.
Okay. So we did do that one, a similar one in the notes,
Yeah.
and it's also similar to number 2. All right, let's do number 6. Solve the triangle. A is 6. B is 8. C is 70. No, capital C. Okay. So we do not have an opposite side, which means we probably should do law of cosines, right? So since I have an angle but no little c, this would be case 3, I believe. So let me go pull up the law of cosines real quick. I should do my notes. Okay. All right, so let's find side C. So we wrote a formula that little c is equal to square root a bunch of stuff. A squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine c. So we got all the stuff we need to find little c.
The second AB should be lowercase, correct?
Yes, yes. Thank you. Should be, those are not angles. A, B. All right, so then here we go. 6 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times A times 2 times, oops. Oh yeah, that's good. Times cosine of 70. All right. Now let's see what that is. That'll be approximately something.
I got 9.79.
9.79.
Yeah.
See, it's supposed to be 8.2.
I got 8.195.
Yeah, that's right. 8 point. We'll round to the 1 decimal place.
Oh, I forgot that.
What did you forget?
The other 8.
Oh,
Okay, I
okay. Got you. Okay. so now we have the opposite side. What was the decimal places for C? I'm gonna add a couple just in case. There's 8.1
195.
5.
195. I'm gonna add a couple just in case, just to see if it changes the final answer. Okay. You write down the formulas for A and B. Okay, capital A, we'll find that guy first. It's equal to cosine inverse of B squared plus C squared minus A squared over 2BC, which is equal to 8 squared plus 8.195 squared minus 6 squared over 2 times B times 8.195. Okay, see how that comes out. I'm gonna leave it as 8.2 first, just to see if it's how it changes the error. Oops, do that. Eight squared plus 8.2 squared minus 6 squared, 2 times 8 times 8.2. All right, let's see what the answer is. They got 43.5. Looks like reading it this way was okay. I was recording 43.4. That's 0.5. By the way, if there's any rounding errors and it's wrong, I'm gonna look at your work anyway, so don't worry about that. Okay. Now that we have A, we can find B. B is equal to 180 minus 70 minus 43.5, which should be what? Let's see.
66.
Yeah. Any questions on number 6?
No.
Okay. Number 7 is it gives you nothing but signs, so it'll be just the law of cosines. You have to do this formula for A and the formula for B, and then that's it. But we'll move on to number 8. So first, let's take a small break here. It's 8:650. Let's come back at 7:10, I guess. All right, guys, let's get back to work. I did start 8 a little ahead of time, so I can think about it. Figure I should spend at least 2 minutes figuring out what the heck they're saying here. But so island A is 150 miles from island B. So I drew an ABC triangle and figured, okay, here's A, here's B. Right, so a distance of 150. And so the ship captain travels 250 miles from island A, then finds that he's off course. So he goes 250 in this direction, drew that arrow. He's going out here somewhere. Then he realized, wait, I I've gone 250, but in the wrong direction. I'm still 160 miles from island B. So that gives us a little a over here. Okay. Now, the question asks you, what angle in degrees must he turn? Remember, he's facing this way, right? So what angle must he turn to be pointing at B? So solving for capital C appears to be the question, but it's not. It's actually this angle, the missing angle. So they want this guy. So that would be 180 degrees minus C to find the answer of the turning angle. Because there's a 180 turn would be going all the way back, right? So 180 minus this piece would stop you here. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So let's find capital C. So the formula we wrote was capital C is equal to cosine inverse of A squared plus B squared minus C squared over 2AB. So the hardest part is just trying to figure out the picture. And that sometimes takes reading the paragraph like 2 or 3 times till it makes sense. Okay. Now plug it all in. Cosine inverse of, actually it's still equal until I use a calculator. So that'd be 160 squared plus 250 squared minus 150 squared over 2 times A times B. Sorry, I wrote that off quickly. All right, so that will be approximately something. Let's figure it out. Hope it's all good. Okay, so that'll be 160 squared plus 250 squared minus 150 squared over 2 times 160 times 250. All right. So if angle C is 34.91, but what I want to know is the difference from there. Oops. So I believe it's 145. 34.92. So angle you must turn is 180 minus 34.92, which is 145.08. Let's see if that's what they got. Oh, that's what they got. Yeah, 140.08. Yeah, C is the answer. Is there any questions on the setup? I think that's the hardest part. Okay.
We skipped number 7, right?
Yes. Yeah, 7 was just another law of cosines. The answer is C for number 7. Number 9, there's an area of a triangle. So find the area. So they give us this side. We don't know B or A angle, but we know that this one is 125. We don't know little c either. All right, so we need the area formulas. Let me go find them. That was 9.4, I believe. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so we have angle C and A and B sides, so we can use the first formula on 9.4 that we call K. So that would be equal to 1/2 times A times B times sine C. So that will be, use 0.5 if you want. A is 5, B is, oops, sorry. Yeah, B is 6. Sine of 125 will be approximately your area. So I got 12.29 square units. Let's hope that's what they got. Yes, 12.29. Any questions on number 9? Okay. I'm doing the same thing, except they give you all sides and no triangle, which means you have to use Hero's formula, right? So here's C and B and A. So they give us 9, 8, 9. One second. Okay, let me go pull up Hero's formula. Here it is. The area they call K is equal to S times S minus A times S minus B times S minus C, where S is equal to 1/2 times A plus B plus C. So let's find S first. So that's 0.5 times the sum of all the sides. So 9 plus 9 plus 8. So that's 13 right there. So K is equal to 13 times 13 minus 9 times 13 minus 8 times 13 minus 9. All right. It's really just 13 times 4 times 5, right? So the area is 32.25 square units. there any questions on number 10?
No, sir.
Okay. Uh, 11. All right. Copy paste the question. Paint needs to cover a triangular region, 60 meters by 68 meters by 72 meters. A can of paint covers 70 square meters. How many cans will he need? So this is basically another Heroes formula because we have, it looks like all three sides, right? So find the total area and then divide that by 70. That will give you the number of cans. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm arbitrarily going to name them as A60, B68, C72. So S will equal 1/2 times the sum. That is approximately, I don't know, 0.5 times 60 plus 68 plus 72. 100. Okay. Double checking. Yeah. All right, so then just use our hero formula, right? So K is equal to square root of 100 times the difference of all the sides. So 100 minus 60, 100 minus 68 times 100 minus 72, right? Okay. One hundred times 100 minus, that's just, yeah, that's fine. 100 minus 68, 100 minus 72. Oh man. What did I do wrong? 60, 68, 72.
Last number 10. Add a
What's
0
that?
to the last. You got 10 minus 72, not 100.
Oh, there it is. Thank you. Yeah, that would be create a negative. All right, so that would be 1893.15 square units. And we know that one can of paint covers 70 square units. So find out how many 70s fit in here, right? So divide 1893.15 by 70 to find out how many cans. So it appears to be 27.04 cans, but there is no such thing as a 0.04. So I got to open a 28th can to finish, right? So 28 cans total to paint the triangular area. Any questions on number 11?
No, sir.
All right, skip problems 11 through 15. Those are the ones in that last section that we're not going to talk about right now. worry about.
Mean 12 to 15?
Yes, sorry, 12. Sorry. There you go. Okay, are there any questions from 1 through 11? Seem okay? Seem doable?